What's up everyone, my name's Al from Gamesreup and today we're going to be looking at 5 alternative hidden greats. Now we can't call it hidden gems for quite obvious reasons, so it's going to be cool. It's obviously, well, I'm going to tell you if you don't already know, it's because Metal Jesus uses that term on his channel called hidden gems. So we're going to call it hidden alternatives because we don't want to be walking on his patch. So today we've got a choice of, let's just have a look. Or the reason, I should say, we should be talking today are about these two consoles. We've got the Sega Mega Drive 1 and the Sega Mega Drive 2. This was the later version that came out in the late, sort of mid-90s, I would have said, not the late 90s, just towards the end of the lifespan. And the first one, which I've had since 93, 94. So this thing's been around for 23 or 24 years, still working. Old hardware always does. This one works, obviously, and I've only just recently got this. But I'll be gobsmacked if the PS4 still works in 17 years' time, or 23 years' time. Anyway, I thought we'd talk about a few different games here that I know some people do talk about, but not everyone does. So I thought, you know what? Let's just fucking go for it. So here we go. This is Lion King on the Sega Mega Drive. Well, actually, this is the Sega Genesis version because I don't know why I got the Genesis version. It works, I don't really care. But this one follows the storyline of the movie. You've got the soundtrack of the game, of the film, sorry, fully featured in this, done in a 16-bit style, or 16-bit sort of music style. Sounds great. The game follows all of the events from the movie, from start to finish, starting as a cub, losing your parents, and eventually growing up to be the king of the pride. You've got Timon and Pumbaa. Great characters, well written game, plays great. It's just a really, really good platformer. I mean, I think we all know that Disney make really good platformers, or did at one point, let's say. Not sure if they do now. But this is one of them. It plays really well, it looks great. This is Lion King on the Sega Mega Drive. It's one you should play, because it is just, like I said, even if you don't really care about it, you know, if you don't care about playing Disney games, it's just really, really good and one you should check out. Just plays great. So following the theme here of movie tie-in games, we've got Predator 2. Now, this is an isometric action game, which again follows the, well, near enough the exact storyline, following Lieutenant Hannigan in trying to take on the drug lords and the drug squads, as essentially Los Angeles has been overrun by these criminals. Obviously, as an officer, he is in a task force trying to take them down. But along the way, obviously, a predator joins in the fun, killing everyone in sight. Now, this game is no different. You are constantly being tracked by the predator. Whilst he's killing off innocent people, you've got to try and rescue them. It's kind of a little bit reminiscent of Alien 3, if you've played that, in the sense of rescuing tied up hostages. Exactly the same. Although this is done in an isometric style, isometric action shooter. Plays really well, music's okay, looks fantastic, and actually the controls are really, really simple. I thought a game like this kind of reminded me of, is it No Remorse on the PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn? Kind of played a little bit like that. Doesn't look as good as that, but really, really smooth. No slowdown, nothing like that. Looks great. It's just a great action platformer. Can't get my words right. Isometric action game, action shooter, featuring this big guy here. Now, obviously, it's not Arnie in this one, as we all know. It's Danny Glover. So Danny Glover's there to kick ass, and eventually you do end up going through the slaughterhouse and eventually to the mothership, where, let me tell you, shit goes down. This is a really, really good game. So, next up we have Robocop versus Terminator. This is a totally underrated game. Not many people really talk about it. This is released on the Sega Mega Drive, Sega Master System and the Super Nintendo. Again, like I said, another totally unestimated game. This is really, really good. Good smooth gameplay, although a little bit clunky. The storyline kind of follows the comic series in the fact that, yeah, it's Terminators versus Robocop. You play as Murphy, Robocop, taking down Terminators. It's as simple as that. It's an action platformer, a lot of violence, a lot of blood splatter. Plays really, really smooth. Controls are really simple. It's just up, down, up, down, left, right, jump and shoot, I think. And that's really it. Picking up an arsenal of enemies, be it weapons, be it grenade launchers. Obviously, you've got your standard pistol. It's good, but it's not fantastic. As well as other weapons. Taking down the bad guys, kicking ass, taking down Terminators. Now, we all thought it would only be Robocop who could do that. Yeah, you're probably right. So you should play. This is totally underrated. Check it out. So next up, we have... I don't have the box here because it's very damn expensive at the moment. I can only play this on ROM. In fact, I'd love to own this. I mean, I know you can get repo versions, which is probably the way I'm going to end up going because it will only cost about £10 compared to about 40 or 50. It is Gunstar Heroes, again released sort of towards the end-ish of the lifespan of the Sega Mega Drive. It's another platform, just a good platform game. Well, in fact, I suppose it's a run and gun shooter. It's a run and gun shooter with a little bit of a platform element to it. So you play as the Gunstars. They are mercenaries taking down an empire and an evil dictatorship. Now, how often does that happen in games? But this one does it well. It plays really well. You've got end bosses. You've got loads of different levels to choose from. The controls are really, really simple, plays really, really well. It's really, really fluid gunfire, and it just looks great. So, and obviously the evil dictatorship are trying to find 4 gems. That's right, 4 gems, sounds a little bit reminiscent of Sonic, that would eventually fire up an ancient weapon, and you're there as the mercenaries to try and take them down. Doesn't that sound fun? Well, it bloody is. so make sure you check it out. Like I said, you're probably best getting this on ROM or a repro, because it will be a damn sight lot cheaper, or free if you go down the ROM route. Plays really well, looks great. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already. So next up, from 1994, we have Red Zone for, again, the Sega Mega Drive. This was another late release. Well, 1994, so that is a very late release because the PlayStation came out a year later. So it's a mixture of styles. You start off in a sort of, well, it's top-down 3D flight sim action type game. A little bit like Urban Strike, Jungle Strike, that style, but a damn sight lot better. In fact, it almost looks like a PlayStation 1 game, an early PlayStation 1 game. So that would be taking down missile launchers, taking down electric fences to get through to the next part, as well as different things like that, different enemies. And then you land in a base, and then it changes to a top-down action shooter. This, for me, is the best part of the game. I think, don't get me wrong, I think the flight part is good. Well, he's really good, but this really sells it for me because I've never seen a real decent top-down shooter on the Mega Drive, and this part of it is just fantastic. The way it looks, again, it looks like a PlayStation 1 game. You've got access to flamethrowers, rifles, grenades, shooting barrels, shooting enemies, collecting secret discs to get to different places. It's all there, and you are just taking down another, and that's right, another dictator. But like I said, people don't really know about this game. It's kind of one that I saw in a shop and I was like, oh yeah, gotta play this because it looks fantastic, and by God, it is great. Anyway, so you can play as all 3 characters there. Personally, I think the best one is actually the guy with the sunglasses on the bottom there. Although the black guy is fantastic as well. The woman's good as well, but the black guy's got some damn firepower there. So it is another one to recommend because, like I said, not many people talk about it, but it is fantastic. So go out and get it. Anyway, I've been Al from Gamesreup. I hope you've enjoyed this because I know you guys like top lists out there. Now, obviously, I'd like a few comments back. If you've liked what you've seen and you'd like to see more top lists and me just generally jabbering about games, then please say. Obviously I do focus mainly everything around Sega products. Obviously I did do a Call of Duty video, but that absolutely bombed. So I'm pretty aware that people aren't a fantastic fan of that on my channel. But obviously I'm a massive Sega fan. Looking to get some Sega lighting, in fact, in the game studio here, as it were. As well as some other bits and bobs. Obviously a massive film collector as well as the games and games everywhere, cupboards everywhere. So eventually, when I do get my own place, I will have a game room tour will then come out. So hopefully that will happen in the next year. Hopefully, funds pending. But anyway, like and subscribe if you want to. Hope you've enjoyed this. I've been Al from Gamesreup. See you later. Thanks for watching. Yes, thanks for watching.